Hey, it's Arden Zwelling and Ben Nicholson-Smith from Sportsnet.ca, and this is Instant Analysis focused on the Toronto Blue Jays, who have had basically an injury a day for what feels like a week now, Ben. But we want to zoom in on the club's bullpen because they really have taken some serious hits there. When you think about Kirby Yates, not even throwing an inning for the club, going down with Tommy John surgery. Now Jordan Romano has been lost. Julian Merriweather also lost to injury recently. Ben, like, pretty simple question. How does Charlie Montoyo get high leverage outs late in games now without those three?
Well, it's a really important question for this team because those probably were their three best arms. I mean, Merriweather looked incredible. We all know what Romano can do, and Kirby Yates was brought in to be really an impact arm joining that group. So at this point, I think Rafael Dolis is probably the closer. I don't think they're going to name him the closer, nor do I think they need to name one defined guy. But if I had to guess, it's probably Dolis. So with him, you get that sinker and splitter approach. You get a lot of walks, not a lot of hits, and the Jays are hoping that he can keep the ball in the park and likely be counted on in some of those late inning roles. I mean, you could look at maybe a David Phelps or maybe a Ryan Baraki. Certainly, there's opportunity here for somebody to step up and take over and be in those high leverage spots. But for now, I think Dolis is the likeliest to get that role.
Yeah, and in 2021, I think the club should be managing to leverage anyway. So if you've got like a really big spot with the opposition's two, three, four hitters coming up in like the seventh or eighth inning, and it's a one-run game, you're trying to protect a lead, go to Dolis there and figure out the ninth later on. Whenever leverage presents itself in the game, I mean, just attack that leverage and put the best possible pitchers in position to get you out of those spots, regardless of who's the quote unquote closer. Maybe we can identify a couple, maybe under the radar candidates to see some leverage here, and I'll bring up a couple and see what you think. One is Tim Mesa. He's sort of already there actually, but I think he's really going to be there now. And he was great in spring training. Obviously, won a job outright on this team, beat Francisco Liriano out for a bullpen job. He's throwing in the mid 90s. He's got a really cool two seamer that he developed while he was recovering from Tommy John surgery. It's been a really effective pitch for him, and he's a guy who I think can get some big outs. And then maybe a little bit further off the radar, but still a really useful pitcher is Anthony Castro, a guy who came over from the Detroit Tigers on waivers during the offseason. Not the most heralded move, but a guy who really separated himself during spring training, throwing mid 90s, really nice breaking ball, ton of strikeouts, not a lot of walks, and really kind of the approach that you want to see from a high leverage reliever late in games. I mean, he's attacking and going off, going after hitters, trusting his stuff in the zone. That's what you want to see from a guy who's going to face leverage late in games. What do you think about those two guys, Ben? And is there anybody else who might see some leverage here?
Both make sense for sure. I could see them in high leverage. Castro looked really good in his season debut, so that's a name to watch for sure. And I'd add Trent Thornton into that mix just because he's been pitching pretty well, and the Jays need anyone who can help.
Not how the Blue Jays drew it up going into the regular season, but we knew that 2021 was going to bring lots of adversity and bumps in the road, and the Blue Jays are trying to manage their way through them. For Ben Nicholson Smith, I am Arden Zwelling. See you next time.